Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something that may just change the way you think about personal growth. It's a secret to transformation that's, well, surprisingly simple. So let's just start with this image, right? You're in a boat, you are rowing as hard as you possibly can, but you're going against the current. Your arms are burning, you're exhausted, and for all that effort, you're barely moving. It's just this constant draining struggle. Does that feeling, that sense of fighting something you can't even see, sound at all familiar? But here's the twist. What if the problem isn't the river? What if it's not the world or your boss or your circumstances holding you back? What if the real issue is that you've been rowing in the wrong direction the whole time, fighting against the natural flow of things without even realizing it? Okay, so if we're rowing the wrong way, what's got us stuck? Well, the source material we're exploring today says the cause isn't out there, it's in here. It's this set of internal barriers. Think of them like 6 invisible chains that are keeping us anchored right in the middle of that struggle. Yup, 6. Experts and wisdom traditions have kind of pinpointed these 6 main culprits, 6 very specific mindsets that keep us from just flowing forward. And here they are. Imagine you are this powerful rocket, okay? You're just ready to launch, but you're tied down. The first chain is trivializing ourselves. You know, that little voice that says, you're not special enough. Then you've got the big ones, the paralyzing fear of failure, and its cousin, the fear of criticism. Then there's that constant feeling that we lack resources, not enough time, not enough money, not enough help. Add to that the belief that we lack the knowledge we need to get started. And the final chain, lacking a clear vision for where you're even trying to go. Any one of these is enough to keep that rocket on the launch pad. But what if I told you that you don't have to sit there and try to break these chains one by one? What if there was a way to just make them all kind of dissolve? This is the heart of what we're talking about today. It's a profound shift in perspective called the principle of light. Let me ask you a really simple question. You walk into a room, it's pitch black, you can't see a thing. What is the fastest, most effective way to fill that room with light? You've got 2 basic approaches, right? Approach 1 is to fight the darkness. I mean, can you imagine getting a shovel and trying to scoop the darkness out of the room? It's absurd. It's totally ineffective. Approach 2 is a whole lot simpler. You just turn on the light. You flip a switch, and boom, the darkness is gone. It didn't go anywhere, it just ceased to exist. Now think about your problems, all the stress, the fear, the struggle. Think of all that as the darkness. And this is the game changer. So many of us spend our lives trying to shovel darkness. We fight our problems, we obsess over them, we wrestle with them. The principle of light says stop. Stop focusing on the problems. Instead, put all your energy into simply bringing in the light. Okay, so that's a great metaphor. But what is the light in real life? What's the light switch we're supposed to be flipping? Well, according to this framework, the light is something called comprehensive richness. Let's actually break down what that is. This is where it gets super practical. See, the light isn't just some vague, fluffy concept. It is the active, conscious building of 7 specific areas in your life. The whole idea is that when you focus on making these 7 areas brighter, the darkness, the problems with your job, your relationships, your health, it all just starts to fade away on its own. Think of your life like a house with 7 lamps. We've got our material lamps, the ones we can see and touch, our physicality, which is our health and vitality, our capacity, meaning our skills and talents, and of course, our material well-being. But the real power, the foundation of the house, comes from the 4 non-material lamps. These are our wisdom, our mentality, things like our inner peace and gratitude, our character, our integrity, and our quality, our inner virtues. The whole point is, when you focus on lighting these 7 lamps, you don't have to worry about the shadows in the corners anymore. They just disappear. So if you only remember one thing from our time together today, let it be this. Stop fighting what's wrong. Shift your focus entirely to building what is good and whole and rich in your life. This all sounds amazing, but there's a really important question. Where does this kind of change actually come from? And for that, we've got one last really powerful metaphor to look at. Just think about an egg. If an outside force breaks it, what happens? Life is over. It becomes scrambled eggs. But if that same shell is broken by a force from the inside, life begins. This is the perfect analogy for change in our own lives. Change that's forced on us by a crisis, by some outside pressure, it can break us. But change that comes from an internal drive, a deep desire to grow, that's true transformation. That's where new life starts. So the final message here is really empowering. Don't wait for things to get so bad that life forces you to change. Don't wait for the world to crack your shell from the outside. Choose to break through from the inside. And do it not because you're running from pain, but because you're running towards a better you, from a place of genuine self-love. So as we wrap up, I just want to leave you with a question to sit with. Looking at those 7 lamps, wisdom, mentality, character, quality, capacity, physicality, and material, which one feels like the right one for you to start with? Which lamp will you choose to light first? This journey is yours and yours alone, and it all begins with that one small choice. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and hey, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss the next one.